Oh yeah! In this video, I'm going to show you how I designed a bunch of D&D inspired skateboard graphics. In here. Alright, in this box I have the summer 2020 release from Revive Skateboards and Force Wheels. I'm very excited to get into it because this is some of my all-time favorite stuff that I've designed for Revive Skateboards. So I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory as I open up this box. I'm going to show off some of the stuff in here because I'm super excited. Tie that t-shirt. Dude, bunch of t-shirts. Dude, this is cool. Okay, let me show you this one. Yes, Advanced Revive 2nd edition skeleton warrior, skeleton fighter dude with chainmail, shield, and sword. So I am a illustrator, designer, a cartoonist. I write and draw graphic novels. I design skateboards and apparel. I make these YouTube videos. I illustrate Dungeons and Dragons maps. I do all kinds of stuff. And the thing that always gets me really excited about my job, yeah, is any time that my interests overlap. In this case, we did a series of video game controller inspired wheels. So each of the pro riders gets their own color controller. Warehouse Wednesday board. Hamburger versus tacos. Here's the Ames world. So this is where I got my idea for the last video, making a pixel art map, a sort of Super Mario World inspired Revive world map. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. When stuff like Dungeons and Dragons and skateboarding can overlap, that's what gets my creative juices flowing. So here, let me show you real quick. Last summer we did a pro series inspired by some of the original D&D books. I got to draw all the pros as different character classes. Like this one is Aaron Kyro as a wizard in a beholder cave. And when a series does really well and creatively we feel like we got more ideas that fit into that series, we do sequels. So this summer we did Advanced Revive 2nd edition, and each of the pros gets their own D&D monster. So John Hill here is a troll. Doug Desautel gets a bunch of goblins. Johnny Geiger is a bunch of skeletons. And Aaron Kyro is a wyvern. Wyvern? I don't know how to say it. I say wyvern. I should also mention that Jason Park is the owl bear. But this sweet Aaron Kyro wyvern board, this is probably one of my favorite graphics I've done for Revive ever. So I thought it would be fun to run you through the process I used to create this skateboard. If you are an old school viewer of this channel, then you probably came here because of Revive Skateboards, and hopefully it'll be interesting for you to see my process for creating one of my favorite graphics. If you are a new viewer of this channel and are here because you dig Dungeons and Dragons stuff, hopefully you're excited to watch me draw a cool wyvern. So that's what I mean. When my interests overlap, it makes for some of my all-time favorite work. Alright, enough backstory. Let's get into the details. Alright, so my process always starts out with sketching. Basically, insanely loose, the fastest possible way to take the image that's in my head and make the idea real by scribbling it down in my sketchbook. So once I have this little sketch, I actually jump onto the computer into Photoshop. I open up our standard board template, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a minute, and I start sketching again. So unfortunately I didn't film this stage of the sketching process. I did a really tight sketch for all of these boards. Most of the time I don't color them in. I needed to spend a little bit of extra time to figure out not only the drawing and how to make each individual board look awesome, but how to make them look awesome all together. So at this point, when the sketch is done, that's when I go back to Andy and Brian, the owners of Revive Skateboards, and I show them the concept. Usually at the very, very beginning, we start by talking it through. So in this case, the brief, I guess, was let's do a sequel series to last year's board. And so this set of sketches is what I'm showing them to get sign off, like, okay, hey, go to final artwork now. All right, so I am drawing these boards entirely in Photoshop. I'm starting with a layer that is the line art. So I'm just tracing over my sketch, cleaning it up, and I'm using a Conte brush. It is one of the included brushes in Photoshop. You have to load them in, so if you go to the little hamburger icon at the top right of the brushes window, click on it, go to get more brushes. It'll take you to a website that has a ton of awesome brushes that you can download and import into Photoshop. So just like last year's series, I want these graphics to sort of feel a little rougher and older, even though they're bright and colorful. Just having some texture on the line art, not being super clean, like just makes it feel a little bit more like that original inspiration. The other thing is I'm doing this all on a Wacom Cintiq Pro 16. So it's a monitor that I draw directly on. So I have control over the pressure sensitivity of the brush. So how hard I push down correlates to how thick the line is. So you can see as I go here on the line art that it's varied, you know, it goes from thin to thick to thin. You know, certain spots of the drawing have thicker lines to help that part stand out more. Okay, once I'm done with the line art, now it's time to start coloring. So I've kind of already figured out the colors. I know that the background is gonna be this cool blue color, and then the wyvern is gonna be this orangish red with yellow. So at this stage, I'm not doing a whole lot to figure out exactly what the colors are. I'm just getting them in there and making them look cool, doing some shading and some highlights. And this series was really fun because I'm a lot looser than I normally am with my drawings, so I'm not being super picky about making sure each little line is just perfect, being a little sketchier. Even with the color, you know, I'm filling in a flat layer and then going back on top with a shadow and a highlight, and I'm just scratching it in there, brushing it in, being real rough with it, because I think it gives it this handmade look that, again, like, goes back to what I love about the artwork on the older monster manuals and Dungeon Master's guides. Okay, I know I get a ton of questions about the template I am using. You know, you can see the outline of the shape of the skateboard, and usually in these videos I am all about giving out free templates and stuff that you can use to create your own skateboard or map or whatever it is. But this template is provided by our manufacturer. Even if this manufacturer was cool with me giving out the template, I'm not sure if they are or not. I still don't think I would do it, because no matter where you get your skateboards made, they are gonna have a different template, because every place has different shapes. You know, skateboards are deceptively complex. You know, even though it doesn't look like it, the shape of the nose and the tail are different. Where the holes are that your hardware goes through to hold the trucks onto the board, the spacing of that is very particular where that goes on the board. So what I'm trying to say here is that if you are getting a board printed somewhere, you want to get the template from the manufacturer, so you know exactly where stuff gets cut off and how things line up and all of that. And with that, I am wrapping up this design. So the last step I decided to do on the artwork is to get a big splatter brush and pick one of the darker colors in the background to sort of just spread over some of the parts of the design. In this case, like the wings, the bottom of the tail, and this back leg. And I'm just putting that darker color over the black line art. And that's simply to push those elements into the background, make it look a little more three-dimensional. So the wyvern's wings get kind of pushed back, and the back leg goes back in the distance a little bit. So the line work on the wyvern's neck and head and that front claw are staying completely black, and that will pop them forward and make those the focal point of the artwork. So once the artwork is completely done, I take it into Adobe Illustrator and put it into the template there. I've already created the logos and the names. I did my best to replicate the original typeface from the second edition D&D books because these are sort of parodies, and even though these are skateboards, I wanted them to look like the cover of a monster manual. Once everything is perfect and in the right place in Illustrator, then it is time to send it off to the manufacturer where they print and put the graphics on the boards, and the boards go from just being an idea in our heads to actual skateboards that we can ride. We wait a few months and then they arrive here in Ohio. So we've got the boards, we put them up on the shredquarters.com. That's where you can go get all of these awesome skateboards. And we shipped them out to you, all of the raddest skateboarders all over the world. Yeah! And that is the process. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments below. Let me know what you think of the new line of Revive skateboards. I'm super proud of this series and all of the other boards that have come out this summer. If you've made it this far in the video and you dug it, hit me with a like. It does a lot to help me out. I super appreciate it. That's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya!